Uh, all right. Good morning, everybody. Hope all of you are having a happy Sunday, and welcome to our channel today. But first, before we move forward, I just want to confirm if everybody can hear my audio live and good, because as last time, a lot of people started facing issues around audio, and I did not want that to happen again this time. So if anybody can just send a quick message saying the audio is good, we can just proceed further. Oh, we can hear you. Thanks, Amir. Okay, so guys, today this week in Canadian immigration has been very, very troublesome because all of you, I'm sure all of you went through all the news, especially the news that was released by the Star, which is a big Canadian news agency, and the news was actually cracking down on immigration, and the immigration minister trying to make a lot of changes. So this is going to be the flavor of today's video, but more essentially, we will talk about what happened this particular last week up until November the 23rd of 2024. So today's video is going to be extremely helpful and beneficial. And once again, if you need any assistance, please feel free to put in your comments in the comment section, and we will try to answer them towards the end of the video. Obviously, we cannot take all the comments, but we will try our best to answer most of them. So okay, so immigration updates this particular week. First one, again, flavor of the week is Ontario to crack down on immigration fraud, and this is big this week, guys, because Ontario has, gone ahead on this legislation that you're working on, which is very, very specific. Let me just bring it up on the screen. So Ontario, as on its website, the province is proposing fines. They're proceeding ahead with this. They've already tabled it, so they're proceeding ahead. They're proposing fines to ban the bad actors who are exploiting newcomers. So where did this come from? So this is an important part that you need to understand. What is triggering this? So if you remember, Ontario PNP has been sort of cracking down on particular cases, especially with regards to its PNP applications, where a lot of applicants are now being asked for 12-month statements. They are being asked for bank statements in terms of trying to prove their salaries. They're also being asked for documents relating to their tax deductions, T4 summaries, PD7, and also all sorts of proofs. Not only that, this particular past year, the Ontario officers were also seen visiting the employer premises to do all sort of checkup that they can, although it is not within their legal purview to barge into the office, but they do ask for the employer's cooperation. And then within that, we have seen all sorts of things come in, like the officers were asking for random proofs, proof of the person being present in the premises, or maybe talking to the employer, talking to the colleagues and stuff. Not so, all of these stories have been around on the internet, and we have also seen particular this thing happen with a couple of our clients as well. So this is all valid and truth. So because of that, the reason is that a lot of people, temporary foreign workers inside Canada, used their points and their employments in order to claim points for their Ontario PNP, and then eventually getting the PR. So Ontario has finally decided to step up, and they are now proposing fines, and with all the bad actors involved, including agents, consultants, lawyers, and anybody who's going to be a part of this, will be proposed to put up a fine of approximately $2,000 to $10,000, and including misrepresentation bans for the applicants. So the administrative monetary penalty is being increased along with the misrepresentation. Ram, we will be talking about Brunswick PNP as well, so please hold on to this. It's there in the video. So yes, 3 to 10 year bans for violations. This will include by violations for employers, representatives, and also for the applicants. Lifetime bans for passports, withholding for human trafficking convictions. So this is a part of the irregular crossings that have been happening. And apart from this, Ontario has actually gone down ahead on this. The mayor was also seen making these recommendations. Apart from this is the bigger news, guys. This is Canada may remove 50 points. So this is only may. Please focus on the word may, because it hasn't happened yet. So what has happened is that this particular article came through, and the whole world has been sharing this article, and the TikTok, and not only TikTok, but Instagram and all the other social media has been overloaded with this particular news saying that Canada has stopped giving 50 points to people who are trying to claim points under LMIA. And then people are all panicked. Not only that, the fraternity is also panicked. Guys, first of all, this is only that he's considering. This has not yet come into effect. Okay, now if so what's happening is, the issue is, let me give you a quick background. Every time a person gets an LMIA from an employer in Canada, it can be either a permanent resident LMIA, which is only supporting PR, where it could be another LMIA like for work permit and PR also, like a dual intent, or it could just be a regular LMIA. Based off of that LMIA, if the applicant has a work permit, couple of them, if the applicant has a work permit, the applicant can claim 50 points or 200 points. Now, historically, bad actors, again including representatives and people, stakeholders, employers and applicants, have been trying to circumvent the system and trying to claim additional points for fake job offers. So basically, fake job offers means there was no job, but the LMIA was sort of obtained by the employer and the representative, given to the applicant. The applicant would have technically paid, as per this article, approximately $70,000 to get that job offer. Now, that particular deal has now blown out of proportion and has now caught federal attention, has now caught attention of the UN, the Senate committee also. And now this was discussed last week behind closed doors between couple of lawyers, MPs and the representatives, and this was discussed at length. After that discussion, after that meeting, this particular article came through, which says the immigration minister is now considering, right? So he himself says that we cannot repeat of what happened at Roxham Road. And this one here said the assessment is worth 50 points. And the minister says there is value to this LMI, but it cannot be $70,000 on the black market. And then he says, we are already taking measures trying to make sure that Canada is ready to take that point immediately. And they are considering this particular change in the coming time, that they might do something about it. Now, this change, like I said, hasn't come through, so no need to panic as of today, but please be sure to not indulge into these practices anymore, because this particular change might come in, right? So since so you can understand it this way, like the federal department already knows that this kind of an issue is happening already. So there could be two outcomes. One, they either bring a change, or they could start looking at 50-point LMIA with a lot of more stricter measures. Either one of these things happen, people who are not genuine applicants will start facing problems. Whether they will remove this or not, we don't have any confirmation yet, but the minister himself, the topmost guy in the position, has acknowledged that we know this is happening and we are concerned about it, and I will be taking remedial actions in the time to come. This is all that we know so far. So all of those guys who are trying to make use of this, please steer away from that. um, will there be a problem for LMI exempt category for that 50 points? Shivanasan, yes, it can be. If it happens, it will be happening for everybody. So it will be happening throughout the spectrum, because so technically this will also have a positive impact, that the CRS will drop. Okay, or we might be looking at overhauling of the entire express entry system if so happens, right? So if it happens, it will not happen for just 1%, it will happen for everybody. So all the things will drop, and that means the CRS can also drop, right? So right now we are seeing 550s, 580s, 540s. Hopefully 50 points once removed, it will start giving fair shot to everybody. But the people and the losing end will be the people who are above the age of 35, who are not having a shot at PR otherwise, are actually relying on this. So there'll be a lot of people who lose a lot of talent as well. So Canada might lose a lot of IT talent, because we have people from Cognizant, Infi, TCS and all of these bigger companies who are senior development IT people sitting at the age of 35, 36, 38, maybe 40, and are heavily relying on these 50 and 200 points. If so happens, those will be the bigger losers. And which is obviously not fair, because they have been here, they've been sort of thinking of creating their own life. And if so happens, let's see what happens going forward. Apart from this, New Brunswick has paused couple of immigration programs for the remainder of the year 2024. Although remainder of the year is not left anymore, we are already sitting at what the almost the fourth week of November. But still, it it clearly shows that the quotas have already filled up. So let me show you what quotas have been filled up. Now, the first program that is being stopped is this one. This is the private career college graduate pilot program. Honestly, this got filled up way earlier. They've just posted the update on 15th of November. If you look at this, as of 15, no issuance of new nomination certificates. But I remember speaking to the office, it got filled up way earlier. I don't know why they've just posted it so late. The strategic initiative New Brunswick, this one is also now paused for the remainder of the year. And along with this, the Atlantic immigration program, the nominations have also been paused, okay, for New Brunswick only. So apparently the New Brunswick quota has already filled up. If you look at this here, effective 15 November, we are no longer accepting processing of expression of interest under the AIP for New Brunswick. This is big news, guys. Imagine, New Brunswick is not a small province, is not a small place. So only below this, or rather in terms of sizes, I think Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland Labrador. So it goes by this. So the second most has already folded, right? So imagine what's going to happen with Nova Scotia, Prince Edward, and all of that. If they have folded their cards, I'm not sure what's going to happen with the other ones. But yes, it's not a happy news. We should be seeing reset of these quotas in the coming year, but don't forget that next year already the PNP quotas in the new immigration levels plan has already been slashed to half. So although this is not PNP, this is federal, but the PNP quotas also have been reduced drastically. And once the immigration levels were discussed, or were displayed, the whole world, including ministers, premiers of these provinces, had already started voicing out their concerns. We remember Manitoba, we remember Alberta, and one of the Atlantic, I think it was New Brunswick or NFL, one of these provinces, the ministers were voicing out their concerns. But apparently the quotas have been released and nothing has happened in terms of their voicing out. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so the next one that we have in line for you is the express entry draws, guys. This week again, so totally unexpected. If you remember, this week, last week only, we had 3 draws back to back, and this week was supposed to be a dry week, right? So, but Monday onwards, IRCC just came back into action and they started throwing in draws. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, back to back draws. And the most surprising part was this particular draw. And I mean, I was furious on this particular draw. Why didn't you hold a larger draw when you had the space last week? If you look at this draw, um, you know, November the 13th, we had a Canadian Experience class draw, 400 ITAs. And November the 19th, again, just within 6 days, another 400 draw at 539. Now, had you included 800 people in the November 13th draw, this score would have dropped. Okay. But no, IRCC somehow chose to hold two draws within a span of just 6 days, which is one, very unusual. Second, within that 1 week, people got chance to fill up the brim again, and then obviously the scores went up. So this is an intentional strategy apparently by IRCC to bring up the scores back, and they are intentionally trying not to push the scores down. November 18th, we had a PNP draw, 174 ITs only. 816 is the cutoff, right? Now imagine, if you look at this draw, PNP 733 at 812 and 174 at 816. So there was no reason to hold these draw back to back, and there were no more PNP additions, because within this, only one draw of, so in this week only one draw of PNP happened. This was British Columbia, and less than 100 people were invited. And 174, I think maximum would be, very few people who would be invited here. Now, Canadian Experience class, this draw happened, and surprisingly, thankfully, healthcare draw happened. 3000 ITAs at 463. So this was one of the good news. And if you look at healthcare, the points have been sort of similar. They have actually gone up if you see from February, 422, but from July it has started going up. But November did not see much of a hike. Okay, so this was a good news, that healthcare draw happened. And apart from this, the overall pool is also sitting at on, it's gone up from the previous week as well. So if you look at this number has gone up despite the invitations of 3,000 and all of that. um, 218,000 people currently sitting in the pool as of November the 18th. Above 600 is only 100 people. Okay, and then between 491 and 500 is 12,000 people. And surprisingly, this number continues to be up on the chart. Okay, so you see 13,000 people, 15,000 people, 12,000 and 12,000. This is the number that is going to, that is going to be including people with high CC scores, people who have age beyond 35. This could be people outside Canada. This could also be healthcare people, trades people, right? So all of them. This is minus 3,000 because the recent healthcare draw that happened, right? So this number is there. Pretty good. So the spread is okay. It's decently sitting at a place where we see every week. There's nothing new about it. The only difference is above 600, there are only 100 people. So not a lot of PNP applicants are there. Now, talking about PNP, we are talking about the next PNP draw that happened. This was by British Columbia, and surprisingly, the number of people who have been invited is, I feel, how do I even talk about it? See, November 20th, childcare only 3 people invited, construction only 4 people invited, healthcare only 4 people, tech only 4 people, and less than 5 people for vet. Now, if you look at the previous week again, so November 13th, they had a draw. But BC PNP has been consistently having draws every week. So November 6th, they had one draw, very few people invited. November 13th, again a draw. And then November 20th, again a draw. Right. So all of this is there. I believe they do these spread out of draws just to maintain the service standard and kind of load that people would want to, or the officers would want to hold every week. Yes, they're spreading out the draws in terms of trying to control the number of people who are there in the pool, or rather in the processing times, right? The last draw for the week was the Manitoba draw. Let me just bring it up on the screen. So the Manitoba draw happened on November the 22nd, which is just about day before yesterday. Skilled workers in Manitoba, that was the overall broader category. Close relative in Manitoba is 89 ITAs, and then 840 was the score, which is pretty good. This has been in the waiting for a longer time. International education, number of ITAs 165. Okay, and then skilled worker overseas, number of ITAs 25 only, with the lowest ranking score of 617. So overall 279 letters issued, 55 were declared having a valid express entry profile number, and the previous draw was again this one. Okay, so overall I think the week was pretty good, pretty decent in terms of the draws. We saw express entry draws, we saw 2 PNPs coming through. So in terms of draws, the spread was pretty decent. Although the number of ITs expected in Canadian experience class was always lower than what we expected or we wanted to see. The bad news came in from New Brunswick, although it was pretty expected. If you were in touch with following New Brunswick with the past couple of announcements that they were making. So New Brunswick was a bummer. They closed down 3 programs, sort of giving a negative feedback to the people who are there in the province. People should be worried or would be worried. Apart from that, the overall summary is that Ontario and federal minister overall are now cracking down on fake job offers. So if anybody is trying to, or even thinking of getting down on a fake job offer, fake LMIA, even a real LMIA with a fake job offer, then guys, you should be thinking 1,000 times before getting into that. For people who are applying for OINP based on fake job offers, fake payrolls, guys, it's about time that you started rethinking your strategy, because Ontario has been coming after a lot of people since the past year. It's not like you can just get into a fake payroll and then leave the job, because they can come after you after a longer time also to check again. So please do not please do not um, get into such activities and try to get authentic ways of getting your PR. If again you need any help, we are here to help you out. We are happy to assist you in terms of any happy to assist you in doing setting up your eligibilities, trying to see what works for you and giving you most authentic advice, right? But yes, guys, let's just look at what's happening in terms of the comments. I think it's comment time. um, Guys, we don't appreciate any one-to-one flack here. We don't want anybody to come here and abuse anybody, so please do not. I'm banning this user. Please do not. Okay, guys, so the questions is, let's just take it from the top. um, Alcon, will the LMI points be removed? We don't know yet. The immigration minister has shared his concerns on the fake job offers behind, or selling of the job offers behind the 50 points and 200 points. We are not yet sure whether they will be removed or not. But yes, the immigration minister has shared his concerns, has shared his, has voiced out his concerns. Um, but no concrete action has happened as of 24th of November 2024. But we should see some strict operations behind the doors, and if anything comes through, we will keep you posted. No need to panic as of now. It's only a reminder for people who've already used it or will be using it. Please use it with a lot of caution. More news to come shortly. um, I want to know if 448 is a good score for skill trade. Yes, MP 448 is a good score for skill trade as of now. Trades like 73200, the trade or the home installer sort of a commercial installer, home installer sort of an NOC code is beautiful for claiming skilled trade. It is also good for OINP skilled trade draws as well, because that is one profession which does not require any licenses. So if you are trying to focus on trades, look at 73200. Related to that will be a couple of COQ points, for example, water treatment, sewage treatment, all of those. There are a couple of them. But yes, skilled trade 73200, I really like that. I think that has a lot of potential. Okay. Will there be, okay, we have already talked about this. Low wage. Will the CRS drop? Yes. So this is a very interesting question. Will the CRS drop? So this year we don't expect the CRS to drop, and as you can see, IRCC strategy is basically spreading out the draws, but they're not letting. So they're holding smaller draws over multiple draws every week, which means that they are intentionally not pushing down the CRS scores. But that could also mean that they're trying to spread out their draws in order to meet the service standards. And also by the end of the year, they are probably not going to operational due to holiday season, so they are spreading out the draws, reducing the intake capacity, so that next year when the office resumes under normal speed, hopefully the draws will start coming in back to back. More consistent draws have been seen with IRCC, so that's a good news. But CRS scores to drop, I'm not sure which category you're in. Overall the scores have been high. If the minister does something about the 50 points LMIA, then the scores will drop, and that'll happen for everybody. So people who lose the 50 points of the LMIAs, then the CRS will drop. So yes, more things to come in the future. Next year will be very interesting. um, can I apply for a spouse open work permit while my wife has a tier 4 tier 5 visa? No wives, good question. We are expecting a change by IRCC very very soon. It should be coming in later this year, so we're already at the end of this year. So hopefully in the upcoming weeks we will see a change coming in, which means that spousal open work permits will only be limited to people who are high skilled individuals. And by high skilled I mean not NOC, yeah, tier 0123. They were talking about high tier double O's, where C-level executives, scientists, doctors, and then lawyers. So this is the kind of announcement that happened about 2 months ago, or rather 1.5 months ago. So we are waiting to see. So while sun is shining, I believe if you are trying to apply for your spousal open work permit, currently the policy is still active. You can apply for it, but that change can happen anytime starting today. So changes are expected in spousal open work permits. When that will happen, we will know very very soon. Okay, and I am a CNC machinist. What is the PR scope for this job role? Dhruv, if you're a CNC machinist, I am not sure if this comes into skill trade, but I believe CNC machinist has a very good opportunity in Ontario PNP draws. So try to look at Ontario HCP and also look at Ontario Human, the employer job offer if you are eligible for it. But it's a pretty good NOC code. Try to pair it with the COQ. I think you should be able to get some good news. Uh, Torre Johnson, yes, 517 is a good score, my friend, but not this year. It should happen next year. So this year, 517, I think it's, you know, it's almost gone. But next year, hopefully. Rajesh, big CC draw will happen mostly in the first quarter of next year. This week, I don't know. Maybe they might want to give you a Christmas present before going, but mostly things will start happening next year. This year, I'm not expecting to see a lot of action unless IRCC wants to give everybody a Christmas gift. Okay. Visitor visa. I am on a visitor visa. So Kajal, you're on a visitor visa with age is 44. I've done graduation from Delhi University. Is there any option for me? My friend, honestly, this is not 2022, 2023, where there were a lot of options. We could have talked about converting visitor to student. We could have talked about converting visitor to work permit. But now things have gone very, very tight. Um, First of all, permanent residency should not be on your radar at all. But if you want to convert any status, you can apply for a work permit with an LMIA from outside Canada, or you could apply for, a student permit from outside, including a PAL. But not many options are available. So yes, things have become more stricter for visitors inside Canada. Um, okay. Sir, my NOC is okay. Canada is so Angela ACM. I believe you have a lot of flack to give to people. I don't appreciate that, but mm, on a close work permit, about to complete 2 years in Canada next May, can I claim both Canadian work experience and LMIA exempt? Okay, Bhavni, good question. Yes, you can claim Canadian experience class with 2 years. Obviously, you will get the additional 25 points as well for the second year. Whether you can claim extra points for LMIA, as of today, yes, you can. 50 points are still good to be claimed if you are under LMIA exempt. But with the new policy coming in, or rather with the new announcement from the immigration minister coming in, he's saying that he's aware of what's happening. So we might see some ratifying news in the times to come. But yes, um, as of today it is fine to claim 50 points. Whether it will continue to happen in the future or not, we are still unsure. No concrete news has come through. It is only the minister saying I am concerned, and whenever he says he's concerned, something does follow. So let's see. um, Muhammad Ali, I'm a cloud engineer. Category is STEM, and score is 430. Any scope of PR in 2025? My friend, 430 is a little on the lower side. Honestly, I will not give you any fake support. But yes, you need to work out hard on your points. Either work on IELTS or work on learning a second language, French. Um I don't think giving 50-point hope is anything good as of today. But yes, points in terms of French and English should be your next way to go. Okay, so okay, there are people with ICT. So Jhansi, good question. There are people with ICT and got LMIA genuinely and are in the race because of these 50 points. If not, they will fall to 450 or so. That's not going to help up here. Yes, Jhansi, I discussed the exact same thing. That yes, people will not be able to claim 50 points in terms of especially ICT people. Those are genuine people, right? So people coming with different companies, genuine people. But yes, everybody is going to be hit hard. Hema, in order to get AIP, which tier should I be in? Good news is that AIP is literally open for all tiers except I think tier 5. So tier 0, 1, 2, 3. I think 4 is there, 5 is also there. I'm just forgetting the exact detail. But yes, it is literally open for all tiers. It totally depends upon who's your employer, whether the employer is giving you support under AIP or not. And the province has the quota left to issue recommendation letters. So yes, this is there. Uh, Good question, Varun. Can you apply for a work permit extension for a spouse if I'm moving from student to PGWP without a full time job? Answer is no, Varun. If you want to apply for a spousal open work permit for your wife, if she has or you have a PGWP, and if you want the work permit for your spouse, having a full time job offer along with one or three pay stubs is a mandatory requirement. It is definitely there because then the qualifying requirement is that the working spouse should have a work permit of minimum 6 months at the time of decision making. Please remember, decision when the decision is coming through, the principal applicant should have at least 6 months, where the dependent accompanying family member will be the applicant. Then there should be an ongoing job tier 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as of today, but this will change in the time to come. So if you're trying to utilize this, have this done ASAP. Don't wait. Uh, Tarzan, if you've been waiting for your PGWP for 5 months, don't worry about it, my friend. Um, PGWP wait is still fine because you're on maintained status. If you're worried that your letter of authorization to work has expired, submit a web form to IRCC. They will issue the letter again. But don't worry about it. The longer it takes, the better it is because this is the time that you're getting your implied work experience. Use it to your benefit. Don't worry about it. As long as there are no other issues, for example, expired study permits and all of that. So, unless we deep dive in your profile, I think more or less decision awaited it is good. uh, Local brick boy, thanks for the support. I love your videos. Awesome videos you make. You guys should check out his videos. Amazing videos. um, Again, CNC Machinist we've discussed. So I think most of the important questions we have discussed, unless because there are a lot of comments, it's hard for me to go through all of them. Okay, one interesting question. Kushwant, 526 STEM, any chance this year? My friend, I'm not sure if this year, but early next year, you should be getting something. This year is all over the place. Okay, we are not seeing, I mean, they're holding, imagine they're holding 400 CC draws, 1 week, 400 CC draws. Next week, STEM draw. Pratiksha, I'm answering your question also here. STEM draw this year, we don't know whether this will happen or not. I want it to happen because Ontario HCP draw has also been pending. This year has been very less. We wanted it to happen a lot. I believe they have taken those quotas and brought in the in Canada because Canadian experience class was never on the chart. So I believe they've extracted quotas from those, put into the Canadian experience class. This is what I'm assuming has happened. But if not this year, then early next year, I'm hoping that this should happen. Okay, so let's see whether what happens this year. Hmm. Okay, good question. Sushmita, what is your view on learning French? Will this help after election as it takes time for us to learn? Sushmita, as of today, French is definitely a very good option. We don't know whether it will stick around for the next 1 year, but if you look at the federal statutes or the federal requirements, developing francophone population outside of Quebec is one topic for national importance. Okay, um, if not as important, then yes, after election it should still continue, because even if election happens, it's not like the next party who's coming in will do changes overnight. No, they might stop claiming points or certain fiery concerns, but any bigger policy shifts will take time to come. So for now, I think even if you take a year, 1 year to learn French, if you start from scratch, I think you will still be in a good spot. And my only submission is, if you don't do this, then what else? Right? So you can't, because the draws are not happening, STEM is not happening, CC is waiting, all of this. So it is better to work on what is available rather than waiting that okay, after 1 year this will also stop. After 1 year a lot of things can stop, right? So better to go with what is available today, which is French. I think this will happen. Okay, guys, I think we have taken a lot of questions for today. For everybody else, I recommend put in your questions in the chat box. We will try our best to answer, but it takes a lot of time and effort to answer them. Also, for anything, for anybody who requires any personal consultation, please feel free to schedule an appointment. We would be more than happy to speak with you. Let me just put up my contact details on the screen. So this is the number. You can reach out to us on 905. You can reach out to us on 365. Send us a WhatsApp message or just book an appointment. We'll be happy to help you out. Guys, lovely chatting with you on a Sunday morning. And I hope you have a wonderful evening ahead in India, day ahead in the western side of the world. And I wish you all the best. Take care.